Hello and welcome back. GovDoc News, no opinions, just facts and summaries of government documents. You take it from there. We are back with the President's Memorandum from October 6th, 2025, Department of War Security for the Protection of Federal Personnel and Property in Illinois. All right, so we have a memo from the president addressing the currently unfolding situation in Chicago, Illinois, where federal facilities and personnel are facing violent attacks. The memo describes these attacks as coordinated efforts by groups aiming to disrupt federal law enforcement activities specifically related to the deportation of undocumented individuals. The memo states that these groups are using violent demonstrations, intimidation, and sabotage, and goes on to say that similar issues are occurring in other states in the Union. But before we get into what the memo actually instructs, I want to give everyone out there a little bit of a breakdown in terms of the situation the memo is describing. So we are talking about what has been dubbed Operation Midway Blitz, a federal immigration enforcement effort led by ICE and the Department of Homeland Security, targeting individuals with criminal records in Illinois, particularly Chicago. And this was announced on September 8th, 2025, with raids beginning shortly after that. Protests to these actions started almost immediately, focusing on the ICE processing facility in Broadview, a Chicago suburb where detainees are held before transfer. Initially, the protests were peaceful, but escalated when demonstrators aimed to block detainee transports to demand the facility shut down. And this is where we should remember that this is one of the easiest ways to get a federal escalation, because as soon as you interfere with the carrying out of federal law by federal law enforcement, powers begin to be unlocked, like deployment of the National Guard, etc. But the escalations occurred when protesters blocked roads and vehicles, leading to federal responses with non-lethal munitions like tear gas, pepper balls, rubber projectiles, etc., and subsequent rioting by protesters. This cycle repeated and escalated further, and this past weekend saw protesters surrounding the facility and clashes with federal agents ensued. On Saturday, October 4th, it has been reported that 10 vehicles rammed and boxed in ICE and CBP agents. An armed woman named Marimar Martinez was shot after ramming and firing at agents, and protesters began hurtling rocks and bottles toward agents. There are also, with subsequent responses from agents, of course. There are also reports that the Chicago Police Department told officers not to respond to requests for assistance from federal agents, even as they were being surrounded by a large crowd of people. Now, Chicago Police Department is denying that, but there are transcripts, so check that out for yourself.
Full video located on our channel.